Welcome back to my garage. Huge mess here. I haven't, well, I just started piling stuff up on top of each other since before I left for Bonneville. Thank you to my girlfriend and kids for the first prize and the boob for beating that record twice, but not actually getting the record. Plan now is to build up an identical engine to the one on the bike in the United States and get that running properly on methanol and nitromethane. First, something I wish I thought about earlier throughout the week at Bonneville. I thought about it the last day and it makes sense, but I wish I think we would have had that record if I thought about that. I'm gonna bring you to my makeshift clean table. Stinger size, stinger restriction size. If you think about it, it makes sense. Bonneville is sitting at like 1400 meters above sea level, 4,300 feet. But that's not the whole story. The temperature and the humidity makes that number upwards of 9,000 feet throughout the day. And that means a stinger that works at sea level definitely doesn't work up there because there's so much air density is so much lower and fuel burnt is so much lower, so the exhaust gases are there's less exhaust gas, which means less pressure, less temperature in the pipe, and it won't rev as it should, and it won't make as much power and as much cylinder pressure as it should, and that kind of the ball starts rolling. And so the bike couldn't, like, the bike was super safe up there, we couldn't seize it. The bike ran best with a 135 main jet. We actually run it with a 90 main jet without it overheating and seizing, and that tells you there's a problem. There's a problem, and that's the stinger. I need to build up that copy engine. That's not a lot of work and won't take much time. But today I want to focus on this, which is my prototype nitromethanol carb. 3D printed in PLA, which will hold up fine probably for testing, but I think I'm going to machine this if it works. So this is a fairly normal carb, like a flat slide carb. What's not normal about this carb is that it has two main circuits, so two needle jets, and there will be two main jets here, and there's also two idle jet circuits, so there will be two idle jets, and that's because our plan is to run 50-50 nitro and methanol, and we'll need at least 5 times as much fuel, probably closer to 8, and that means I could do that with a single circuit, a fat needle and a big needle seat, but parts like that aren't readily available. What is readily available is just normal parts, and I can just double up on them. So huge main jets and twice the needles and twice the idle jets should be, the pilot jets should get us there. There's no emulsion tube or like air correction circuit in this, which means it'll go richer with higher airflow, and I think I can get away with that on alcohol. I think actually that's a good thing on alcohol. Keep it a little safer. I can't assemble this yet. Well, this is a little warped and needs sanding, but I'm missing the threaded insert. Should have arrived yesterday, but didn't, hoping they'll arrive today. I'm gonna use this Electron float bowl, but I'm not gonna run a float in there. I'm gonna have an inlet sitting kind of low, and then an outlet sitting high. That outlet will have a fuel pump on it, keep level stable. So the bowl will be gravity fed, the return will be pumped, so that so this will pump more than gravity can feed. So the level should stay level. And I'm not sure how fond this pump is of running dry, but we'll see. We might run the Speedway carb still, as it's like a tried and true solution on the blower methanol and nitro engine. What I can do is repurpose the bowl and run that with this too. This is meant for gravity feed. The problem with how our tank is positioned and gravity feed is the difference between a full tank and a quarter full tank is like 20% fuel pressure difference, which probably means 20% leaner at quarter tank. And that's a problem. So that's why we could have this like a surge tank fuel bowl thing sitting like someplace. I sprained a couple of ribs riding BMX a few days ago, and it's why I know they're sprained because they're getting worse, which is fun. Looking forward to half a year of rib pain. Forgot to turn the camera on, of course. I marked out a more precise version of this. Pretend you're not seeing what you're seeing here yet. Most problems in life can be solved by just listening to a high-revving two-stroke engine. But in the cases where even that doesn't work, therapy can help you. And this video is made in paid partnership with BetterHelp. They're on a mission to make therapy more accessible and easier to get into. I feel there's kind of a stigma around therapy where people think there has to be something wrong with you to need therapy. That's not really the case. Of course, if there is something wrong with you, therapy helps a lot. But also, it can help you just be a better you, help you walk through the maze of what all your experiences has made you into. And for most people, there's always been stuff making you into a less, like making things harder for you than it could be. Starting therapy with BetterHelp is super easy. You just fill out the questionnaire, and in not very long, you'll be matched with a therapist. And if you feel that therapist isn't right for you, you can easily find another one and like test out various therapists, like how you find friends, where all people aren't friend material for you. Go to betterhelp.com/twostrokestuffing or click the link in the description and get 10% off your first month of therapy. Thank you, BetterHelp. That's hot. Should have used some fire bricks or something to make made that easier, because it took a lot of time. Too much. Seems to have turned out okay. Not the prettiest slide. Ah, fuck. Never learn. I'll never learn. So that was a huge step forward. First, a few of the files got corrupted from well, finishing the slide and all that. And then this morning I formatted the hard drive on my camera and deleted the footage of pushing in the threaded inserts and assembling. But it's just a bunch of threaded inserts soldering ironed into the plastic. Worked great. And then assembly. And as you can see, it works nicely. So, engine assembly time. It's always a pain to get the seal over this sharp edge here without it flipping, like without it getting flipped, or the lip getting flipped and that spring coming loose. And so I'm going to make a little stub with a taper on it that'll make it much easier for me to slide this into the case without that happening. That's what's going on. Made up a new little press tool and got it spaced in correctly. 2 new tools today. Okay, get that crank in there. Like 0.05 ring gap, so we need to fix that. Need to tighten that up a little bit. And with tighten, I meant widen. Point 0.15 barely wants to go in there, but I need twice the gap. I think it's sitting at 0.3 now, which should be good. Yeah, I can force 0.3 in there. 0.3, that's good. Should be good. .6, which is a little bit high, but probably good if we're going to run high RPM and nitromethane. So 0.6 it is. I forgot to bring any of the fixed variator sheaves back from the United States, so we'll need to modify this stock Piaggio one. It's more than good enough for what we need, but the starter gear thing, it's too big. The hardness of this is no joke. We got there. in the end. There. Thinner washer, and looks like we're good now. That's it, assembled. Ignition, fuel system. I'll get it mounted in my cradle here. I've hooked up the tank and the return pump. So now let's see if the floatless system works. I have a tube here to see where the level is sitting. So hopefully it doesn't just overflow. That would have been the least desirable thing to happen. We need to do this in the correct order of operations. I need to turn the pump on first. Hopefully it wants to prime itself. It should. I've tested it earlier and it did. Open the valve after the pump. That's my point. Get the return line up in here. And I'll bring you in closer so you can see what's going on. So first turn the pump on and then open the valve. It looks like fuel level is staying. It's definitely not rising. And I can see a steady stream of return. Let's take this off and get a more clear view. Seems like fuel level is sitting at pretty much full bowl. And that's totally fine. Turn the valve off and turn the pump off. That seems to be working nicely. Success so far. Well, that's it then. And there's no fuel up in here, so it doesn't overflow. Ignition and a startup. Will it start? And will it run? Will it leak? Who knows? This will be the end of the video regardless. I'm running out of time. Somebody's calling. Hopefully it'll start. It's set as rich as I can get it now, and it's probably too rich for this fuel. We'll see. Might start. Let's see here. Ignition off for now. Fuel on. Fuel on. I'll crank it without ignition, just a little bit. Like that. And then ignition. I should have. It's a two-man job, really. Well, that wasn't too bad. So turn this off, pump off. That wasn't bad at all. The thing is, I need to put this stuff somewhere else because it'll just fall off. Same with my lamp. Let's see here. On. Fuel. yeah, it's super, super, super rich. That was the plan. It's good. This means I can make it too rich on this fuel, hopefully on 50-50 too. A good thing, a good thing. I'm gonna drain this, and next time we're gonna start jetting. Put some smaller jets in there, see how it behaves. It's the next day. I drained the bowl, but I let the fuel sit in the pump still, just to see if it would seize up, and no, it's fine. The PLA has survived. The PLA will keep on surviving unless there's too much heat. I haven't found a chemical yet I can use to dissolve or deform PLA actually. I know there's chemicals out there, but for gas or methanol, nitromethane, oil, it seems to might be getting weaker. I don't know, but I've used it as stuffers and stuff in engines and no problems. It ran super, super rich. Super, super, super rich. That's why all the fuel was pouring out here. And at low RPM, with the rotary valve, the back and forth pulses in the carb, there's no inwards force really, it's just back and forth. So that made it spew out. You won't believe how tempting it is to try 100% pure nitro, well 5% oil in there, and see if it's rich enough for that fuel. I shouldn't, but it's really tempting. So what I'm going to do next time is start jetting down, do one circuit at a time. So make that one pilot jet much smaller first, and then one of the main jets much smaller, and go from there. We can jet down one circuit and then start jetting down the other circuit if we need to. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next time, hopefully not too long. I'm eager to test this, probably Monday.